So we all love watching fights, especially anime fights. Seeing people beat the ever-loving life out of each other gives us that warm, tingling feeling inside. This list isn't necessarily highlighting the best fights in anime as a top list, but instead fights we were all most entertained by. The rules are pretty simple. Fights that engage the audience most will make it onto this list, and it's not limited to one fight per show. Starting this list off, we have Eren vs the Armor Titan. This fight was super interesting to watch because Eren likes to fight with just brute force, not using his brain. He rages and goes for his opponent with no analysing whatsoever. We saw this brute when fighting Annie in the forest. Although Eren was much stronger in power, Annie still literally took his head off by outsmarting Eren. But this time Eren decided to fight smart. Well, not at first, but after he kept getting his ass kicked. When fighting the Armor Titan, Eren keeps trying to use brute force to defeat him. Unfortunately, the Armor Titan is much stronger than him in raw power. Instead, Eren holds his rage back and uses his head. He decides to use different techniques and wrestle with Reina, who is, if you didn't know already, the Armor Titan. After training with Annie, Eren figures out how he can win the fight against the Armor Titan. Rather than just forcing everything to death, Eren throws a feint right hook. Now the Armor Titan wants to counter with a straight hand because it will reach Eren faster. Eren slips away from Reina's jab and does an outside sweep takedown. Next, Eren manages to perform a triangle choke armbar. At this point, Eren has managed to crack the armor and is literally tearing him down piece by piece, and Eren has ripped the Armor Titan's arm off. Of course, after this, the Armor Titan manages to escape from the armbar because Eren just tore it off, and Reina now goes in for the spear. Unfortunately for Reina, Eren has been training under Annie, and this girl knows how to fight. Whilst Eren is getting speared, he uses it to his advantage and performs a neck crank from guillotine. At this point, Eren is completely tearing the Armor Titan apart, not with pure force but with technique, and that's what I love about this fight scene. Real life moves are performed and it increases the realism. Unfortunately, this fight ended by an even bigger Titan, dropping a big ass wall on Eren. Next up, we have Naruto vs Sasuke. What makes this fight so great is the story behind it. Two friends who go way back and have strong beliefs. Unfortunately, it's these beliefs that tore them apart. They've both fought side by side, risked their lives together, but Sasuke decided to separate from everyone and he wanted to wipe out the Leaf Village. Of course, Naruto wasn't going to let this happen. Naruto and Sasuke have their final battle. There's no music in the background, and this really shows how serious the fight is. The fight shows how well they know each other because they're finishing off each other's hand signs and also preventing them from finishing it. We see Sasuke continuously not allowing Naruto to finish his shadow jutsu, both using their jutsu to the max, pulling out everything they can with no reserves, laying it all out on the line. Naruto uses Nine-Tails Fox clones to compete with Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke pull out their most powerful jutsu, leveling landscapes. At this point, they've used all their chakra to the max. It's at this point the brutal fight begins, beating each other to a pulp, literally getting their teeth knocked out. After they've given everything they've got, they decided to take a lie down, and the next fight is a fight we all enjoyed so much, and that was Saitama vs Boros. Saitama vs Boros is the definition of over the top. The best thing about this fight is how Boros travels across the galaxy and takes the fight very seriously. On the other hand, Saitama couldn't look less interested. Boros is the strongest in the universe, or at least he thought so, searching for 20 years to find a worthy opponent, an opponent that could rekindle his passion for battle. Well, he got more than he bargained for. Boros is giving his all and Saitama is casually walking backwards, just not interested. When watching this, you can't help but get hyped. So many things going on and it looks kinda ridiculous, but that's why we love it so much. So much power is being displayed. In fact, Saitama gets knees straight in the gut and gets blasted straight to the moon. Still, Saitama doesn't give a damn, and his facial expression shows he's not interested one bit. This fight is so over the top and we love it. It's ridiculous levels of intensity, power, animation, and just the energy that surges throughout our bodies while watching is incredible. Pure exaggeration, enormous powers with limitless extents. These beings can do whatever the hell they want. It just shows what a pen and paper can really do when left to free and open minds. I've replayed this fight so many times, I think I've broken the replay button. So for the next fight, it was just brutal and painful to watch, and that fight was Jason vs Kaneki. Kaneki vs Jason was one of the top oddly satisfying anime fight scenes. At first we see Kaneki getting mercilessly tortured, having his toes and fingers cut off. What makes this scene sickening is how Jason used psychological tactics to keep Kaneki sane. Jason makes Kaneki do mathematical sums like counting down in numbers. The purpose of this is to retain his sanity. You see, our brains have a safety mechanism to shut down if we're in excruciating pain. This safety mechanism can cause our bodies to become unconscious or lose our sanity in order to block off pain. However, in this case Jason is making Kaneki do logical mathematical sums, and this stops his brain to act irrationally, hence maintaining optimal pain levels. But Kaneki still falls into and out of hallucination. I guess you can only do so much to a person before they break. If that wasn't enough already, Jason brings out two people who are in love with each other and makes Kaneki decide which one should be killed. Of course Kaneki decided he can't pick one, so instead Jason straight up murders the both of them. Kaneki suddenly snaps, transforming into a true ghoul. This is where the tides turn. Kaneki stabs into Jason's back, making him do mathematical problems. Talk about getting a taste of your own medicine. At this point Jason is literally in tears. That's what was so satisfying about this fight. And the final fight on this list, a fight that had us off our seats and screaming at our TV screens as if it was a Rocky movie. And that fight was Rock Lee versus Goro. Rock Lee versus Goro is a classic fight. The hype for this fight was intense. Everyone was shocked when finding out Goro had a sand manipulating jutsu and all Lee had was taijutsu. Lee was struggling to hit Goro because his shield of sand protected him. It seemed impossible to penetrate the sand or at least be faster than it. But Lee was holding back nearly all of his power the whole time. Guy Sensei allows Lee to remove the weights from his legs. You're probably thinking, taking off a couple of pounds, what's that going to do? Well, it turns out the weights Lee was wearing weighed a ton. Suddenly Lee launches a flurry of attacks. Punch after punch, kick after kick, and finally breaking through Goro's sand wall, smashing him straight in the head. It's the first time we see Goro bleed, only to find out Goro was wearing his sand like a coat of armor, absorbing any attack. Lee puts his high-speed Lotus attack into action, but there's one problem. The high-speed Lotus attack puts great strain on Lee's body, kicking Goro into the air, grappling him, thrusting Goro into the ground. Lee must have done some serious damage, right? Wrong. It turns out the Goro we saw get smashed into the ground was a fake made from sand. It's time for Lee to pull out his secret technique, the 8 Enegates. Lee's whole body has transformed. It's now or never. After this attack, Lee's body will not be able to move, smashing Goro around like a ragdoll. Goro's sand shield can't keep up with him. The only thing protecting Goro is his sand coat armor. Lee gives one final blow, shooting Goro straight into the ground. There's no way Goro could have survived that. You won't believe the next part. Goro's shield could not keep up with the beating, so instead it cushioned Goro's crash into the ground. At this point Lee can only call. And on the other hand, Goro is going in for the attack. Goro then crushes Lee's left arm and leg, rendering them useless. Next, Goro goes in for the kill, but Guy Sensei steps in, swiping Goro's sand away. It's too late for Lee. He lost the match as soon as Guy stepped in. The winner is Goro, but that's not all. Lee manages to stand up, but it's not Lee standing, it's his body. You see Lee is unconscious, but his body stands up because he simply does not know how to quit. And that's why Lee vs Goro takes number 1 on this list of anime fight scenes. Lee shows how hard work pays off, and his willpower is something nobody has ever seen before. Training like there's no tomorrow. Lee did not have any talents or gifts. What he had was work ethic and proved that he was one of the strongest ninjas out there. So if you enjoyed this video, then consider giving it a like. And if you're interested in anime and video games, then this channel is for you, so you should subscribe. Curious to see which anime character you are? Well, you can find out in a personality quiz on techanime.com, link in the description below. Also follow me on social media, I have a ton, and I'm pumping out content for all of them all the time. You can see and find them all in the description below. For all things anime and gaming, go to techanime.com.